Hey, welcome to another edition of What the Fuck Happenings here in the universe. Yeah, why not? It's sort of a documentation of things happening in the universe. It's a fact. I can get away with that. So anyway, this is something called an Anna Brown. And it's talking some kind of Buddhist la la la, everything's okay. We're all sitting on the train and we're watching the scenery. And the scenery is actually trains crashing into things, catching fire and exploding. You look out the window and you see all kinds of train wrecks. And you're sitting on your train and you're just... all of this little happy philosophy is supposed to somehow make it all okay. You're just, oh yes, nothing there's nothing wrong here, everything's going to be just fine. Look out the window. Oh yeah, everything's just fine. I'm not on a train. Wait a minute. So that'll be my perspective or attitude, that yes, they get little tiny things right. This whole religion thing and philosophy thing, they get, it's like Christianity got the do unto others as you have others do unto you. Now, they didn't write it into those 10 commandment things. It'd be like, that would be the simple one, right? Just say that, and you can get rid of the 10 other pieces of shit. Obviously, doing unto others doesn't mean revere God or he'll kill you. So it doesn't have that commandment in it. But, I mean, all the others, like don't kill and don't do this and don't do that, they all kind of have to do with this idea that if you don't want it done to you, don't do it to somebody else, and then you won't have it done to you. So it's a good principle. It's not a bad thing to think in your life. If I don't, screw with the brakes on your car, then you don't screw with the brakes on my car, that kind of thing. That sort of works. The rest of it's all just babble. And they create this whole silly story, and it just ruins the value of the good thing because you tie so many bad things to it. Something like that. So anyway, this happened because of the Modern Mystic posted this as a thought exercise. What's your reaction? Well, yeah, of course your first reaction is, oh, this is going to be so fake. Something like that, because you have the typical, staging. It's like putting the girl in the bikini on the car, because the car sucks without the girl on it. That kind of thing. So you're just going to get manipulated by, the standard beauty by association. So what she's going to say is going to be pretty because she's pretty, kind of a thing. Or at least young and healthy and poorly tattooed, I'd have to say, but whatever. Subjective opinion. So yeah, it's going to be a gimmick. And then the philosophy is the typical standard blah 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 that I will react to and just point out how, oh shit, that's just such veneer, that's you're just making a mess with this whole philosophy thing. It's a tiny element of truth, and you piled a whole bunch of cotton candy on top of it, and you'll never get to the truth because you've covered it in so much crap, that nobody's, it's sticky and it's ugh. Anyway, so that's what we'll do, just for fun. Sort of. It's a change of the pace, because I really haven't had anything in the universe to respond to, because all of it is just such crap. I mean, it's such crap. There's no point in showing any of it to you, because it's just like, oh, here's another piece of shit. Yeah, that's not very interesting, is it? It's just another pile of shit. So, I do miss that a little. Having something like a counter argument in some sort of form that's worth even dealing with. But anyway, so let's leave us continue.
Why do the birds sing?
Yeah, because they're birds. That's what they do. They have little beaks and they have a little chirpy vocal cord go. Oh, come on. Why do the birds sing? Why did the bugs eat? Why did the snakes slither? Why, I mean, you could go, why? Because of evolution. That would be the easy answer, I mean, it's both easy and scientifically correct. because chemistry acquired the capacity to make a replicating molecule, and a bunch of these replicating molecules went in different directions in terms of changing subtly through insidious radioactive kind of decay events inside that destroyed pieces of them and broke them. And it just happened that these certain breaks were an advantage, you know, having, I don't know, double anuses or something that might have worked for a while, and then it failed. You know, it was, all the people that had one complained. You know, it's evolution. Yes, we're here because of evolution. That would be the way to start. The tree behind you, the little birds singing, the atmosphere, the biosphere. It's all here because all of these little competing robots that make, you know, many times their own number in display models. And then they let the gorilla in to break most of them. You see, and the ones that survive the gorilla, you know, Godzilla, you know, life. Those get to have more, you know, make more copies. So yeah, but that's the answer. The answer is there's a dumb, idiotic, moronic force in the universe called evolution that's really mutation, and it's really child murder. So through the process of murdering children, we're here. Yeah, that would be it.
Why does the sun shine?
Oh, jeez. Well, this is a whole physics debate, isn't it? Well, some people think it's because it's waving. Ooh, it's waving a bunch of little radiation through little ether particles. La 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 la. Yeah, some people think that's stupid shit. Other people understand that photons are energy, and the energy is formed inside the sun because it's getting compressed by gravity. Because there's a bunch of these little particles in the universe, and they're compressing the sun, and by compressing the sun, they absorb the energy of the forces that are pushing the little matter bits inside of them, and little pieces break off called photons, and they're just really pattern frequency of dot dot dot. And it takes 1 million years for it to get out of the sun, and it pops out of the sun, and it goes everywhere. You know, it could go that way, it could go that way, it could go that way, and the ones that go this way hit us. Yeah, and they hit us like radiation. Okay, and some of them destroy our chromosomes, give us cancers, and we die. Ooh, that doesn't sound very fun.
Why do flowers bloom?
Sex, you know. It's the same seductive reasoning, you know, that we have to seduce the little robots into doing stupid moronic things so we can trap them into making children so we can murder them. That's how the system works. The system needs to murder your children, so it has to figure out some way where you're not going to figure out that's what the system's out to do. And for some moronic reason, you'll have them even though it's not a very smart idea. So we'll make you'll think you're doing something, hey, this is fun. You know, I'm polishing a certain part of my anatomy and it's really fun. But no, it's not a good thing, okay, because you're going to murder a kid with your little fun activity. Yeah.
Why does it rain?
Oh, well, that's, you know, that's a little more complicated. You know, it has to do with atmosphere. It's the sun again, though. The sun heats the surface. The atoms get a little bit irritated because they're getting hit by radiation. Again, this whole radiation thing, it bounces them around, and when they bounce around, they pop out of their surface, and they're all jiggled up, and then they get blown away by the atmosphere into some other fucking place, and like, holy shit. You know, and they're off to Oz, right? And they're they're no good at this navigating thing, and so they get blown all over the fucking place, and a bunch of humidity gets into the air that way. All the water molecules are filling the air, and then they, you know, tend to say, hey, are you a water molecule? And they see one over there, and they stick to each other, and they stick to each other, and stick to each other, and then when they're stuck to each other, the balloon can't hold them up anymore, and they fall down. So, simple answer.
For no reason at all.
Oh, fuck, there you go. For no good reason is the word you use. There's lots of reasons, okay, because it's a universe and it has this force stuff in it, and has this matter stuff in it, and so it's all moving around, and it can move in certain kind of patterns, and it can become oscillatory and habit. It forms habits, so to speak. So there are reasons. They're just not good reasons. See, good reasons come with you do a lot of thinking about it, and you say, does it really work? Is it going to make sense? I put the square wheel on the train, and the train's all lumpy and bumpy, and it doesn't really go very good. And I put the round wheel on, it works much better. That kind of thing. Well, none of that process went into its development. See, because there was no brain that could say, hey, am I making a Frankenstein monster, or am I making puffy fun cake? And, it doesn't know the difference between, puffy fun cake and Frankenstein. So it ends up making Frankenstein because it's stupid. So that's the reason we're here, is because the universe is stupid. It doesn't have a brain.
Just like you're watching this video.
Fuck, what was she talking about? It's the same no reason? Oh, no, there's a reason I'm watching the video. I explained it before I started. See, somebody else saw it, and they triggered, they went trigger, and they said, okay, I'll play that, I'll suggest somebody watch this video because it's very triggery, okay? And so then now I'm getting triggered by it. See, I'm triggering, you see, and so that's why I'm watching the video. So there's not no reason. And this one might even be a good reason. It might be a good reason to watch what other crazy, silly brains are doing in the universe, so you can say, hey, maybe we ought to do something about that, because those people are silly as fuck. And so I make videos suggesting to people, hey, maybe we ought to do something about this, because everybody's silly as fuck. The whole world's being run by silly as fuck. And that's not a good thing. Got to fix that.
For no reason at all.
No, la. Yes, there was a reason. I just explained it, so I think your theory is debunked. Okay. Haha. It's a pretty easy argument for you to win. I mean, really, do I have to prove the exact lineage of this process of reaction and action? No, I don't think I should have to.
There may be a thought of, well, I chose to do this, but that's no...
Oh, gee, so now we're going to get into this, the thought about I chose. Who did the thinking? I guess I did. Yeah. Well, where did I get the idea? I guess I gave it to me. Yeah, sure. Yes, we're all reactionary robots. So we all absorb the world, get dented in different ways, and because of the way we're differently dented, the world bounces off of us in different ways. Like, some of us are not so appealing, and so then, like, we ask for a favor, somebody says, well, I'm very busy and I have so many things to do and I got puffer cakes in the oven, but if we're cute or we're this or that, then they say, oh sure, I'll do whatever you want, because maybe you'll fall in love with me. So we all get different actions and reactions, and so then we become different human beings with different motivations and attitudes. Now, see, I've been a train sitter in my life, and I've looked out the window and I've watched all the fiery crashes, and I've just basically sat here and said, why the fuck did somebody throw me on this stupid train? And how the fuck do I get off? I mean, jumping off is tricky. Shit, that doesn't look like any fun either. Jumping off the train doesn't look any better than staying on the train. They both don't look like very good choices. It sucks. Somebody ought to hit, the people who are thinking this is a good idea, somebody ought to hit them with a little stick or something so they get the clue that, what the fuck are you thinking? Train wreck isn't any fun.
Illusion. Free will is an illusion.
Yes, well, there we all can agree. Isn't that nice? Yeah, okay, let's agree that any notion that we freely do anything would be silly, because we're sitting in a train and we can't jump off, and everything we're doing doesn't seem very free. Just sitting in your chair smashes your ass. I mean, there's nothing here that has anything to do with anything called a free. And what would a free be anyway? I mean, free would be for no reason. There has to be reason, there has to be process, things have to go through all of that stuff. So yes, you don't have any ideas because there was no process. So, but where did the process come? Oh yeah, that's right, the process came from being dented. So yeah, there's all an explanation for every little will you have. Your little wills came from something. There's no freeness to them. All you are is some kind of, you catch ideas and then you mix them together in a bowl, and then you come up with your little stupid crap that you mix together. But you didn't do anything, you just caught stuff with a bowl. You can't say, hey, I'm really great. because I caught stuff with a bowl? I mean, come on. But anyway, so you don't do anything for free. Everything is at a production cost.
This is just life appearing as two.
Oh, here we go. Appearing as two. Now this is where, right, it's just going to go insanely wacky. This is just life appearing as two. Who wrote that? What the hell does that mean? Who can make sense out of that, right? I can't even say anything to it because it's like, this is just life appearing as two. We know it's life appearing, and we know the life is different than rocks and dirt and stuff. Lots of life in the dirt, actually, and the life is different, right? We have to understand there's two kinds of life on Earth. There's this stuff that's just cells that go, you know, eeky eek, you know, that go squiggling about with little tails or something and don't have any brains, and they're just little robots, obviously robots. And then there's this us, which is made of a bunch of billions and billions of those little cells that are all being forced to be liver, or they're being forced to be a kidney, or they're being forced to be a heart, or they're being forced to be a penis. They're being forced to be something, you know, they didn't get any choices, and they make any decisions, and they, you know, they're just being strapped in and said, fuck you, this is what you do. But they don't have a brain, so it doesn't matter. Okay, but we, because of those organized little cells, those, and, you know, they can carry electricity. That means they can play an electrical game where they shoot a bunch of electricity through each other, and it all adds up to, hey, we can make 2 + 2 = 4. We can make different patterns that have connections to each other and have some coherency. And so we can take chaos and we can see things in it, you know. And unfortunately, most people are seeing, it's Mother Mary, you know, or some kind of bullshit. They're seeing stupid things. Okay, instead of the, you know, realizing, oh, I'm on a train that's going to crash and catch fire. Maybe I should do something like panic. You know. But if we keep them good and distracted, they won't know they're on a train that's just going to crash and catch fire.
But that's not true. It's just a mirage.
Oh, it's a mirage now. Now, obviously, this isn't very mirage-y, frankly. Mirages are like, you know, they're wavy, and they're way over there, and they're foggy, and, you know, and they don't feel like anything. I don't feel the mirage. So whatever I'm doing, it's not a fucking mirage. Okay. So, I mean, you're almost like saying, well, why are you trying to convince me that, you know, this isn't this, and my head isn't this, and I don't have a skull, and I'm not really made out of flesh and bones, and I don't really have all this brain shit going on, I don't have all that electricity. Why are you trying to get me to pretend this doesn't exist? I mean, I mean, you must have some wacky agenda here. All right.
There is only this energy.
Ah, there you go. There is only the energy. That's right. That's what makes it all go round, is a thing called momentum. I have another channel where I've been arguing this stuff with people, and they don't get it at all because they want to make everything fancier, and you know, they want to find justification for everything by changing the physical facts. But yes, that's really all there is, and the energy never stops. Little pieces of it just keep going and going and going. The photons, for example, the stuff coming out of the sun, that little stuff, going the speed of light, it never stops. It just keeps going to different places and pushing into different things. So it'll push me, and then it pushes the air, and then it pushes the battery, and then it pushes it, push, 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 forever. So it's a little chaos engine in a sense, this energy. It's just constantly keeping things adaptive, constantly forcing them to experience new things, constantly forcing the train to crash into the wall and catch fire and burn your flesh off. Ew. Yeah, energy be bad. Okay?
Freedom, this light that appears as all of these different expressions.
Whoa, it's the light that appears as expressions, but they're not really expressions. Yes, they are. They're real things. The matter is real. See, it's not a mirage. And the matter in one thing is full of little individual atoms, and there's little individual atoms over here, and little individual atoms in all these places, and they're all individual little train wrecks. The end. That's it. There's nothing. There's no. Oh, but it doesn't really happen. It's in a child's coloring book. It never happened. No, it's really happening. It's real stuff. It's, this is what the universe is doing right now, and it didn't do it then, and it's not going to do it later. What it's doing now. Now happens now, and then something happens in the future, and something happened in the past, and that's the way it works. You can't undo what did happen. Can't do nothing about what's happening because you don't have enough time to do it, and all we got is the future to save. And instead of doing that, la 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 la, your people are just going la 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 la. Yeah, so instead of saving the future, you're all just talking this babble. When you could just take some drugs instead, be just as clever.
So separation doesn't exist.
Okay, separation. I don't know what the hell that would be. Okay, so now she's heading for the whoa, blah, blah, blah. That somehow, Japan is North America, or something. Somehow things aren't, it's not a fact that the universe is made out of all this stuff spread out over all of this area. That somehow it's just one thing. I mean, you could argue that all the life is ancestor to the same stuff. So you could understand we're all relatives because we all came from the same fish. And then the fish came from the same first fish, and so we're all very much related, and we should have some appreciation for the fact that we're pissing on our brothers and sisters, so to speak, when we fuck somebody over. But beyond just recognizing that we have a fundamental sameness, a fundamental same robot, just differently tattooed, just little different dents in the machines. So if you're going to say the machine has some value, and certainly I say my machine has some value, it matters whether you stick a nail in its eye or you give it a cupcake. It's a big difference. Then it's a big difference if I give somebody else a nail in their eye or a cupcake. So as long as I understand that, that if I cause their trains to wreck, that's no different than wrecking my own train. Come on, it's not a difference. Doesn't make any difference. So you have to play the game recognizing that you can't make value out of something else's welfare. You can't compromise something else to enhance yourself because you took water to make water, so to speak. We're stuck in the fact that we have to do the math understanding everybody's a number and you can't just steal numbers.
Except for in dream state. Except for when we are fractaled off.
Fractaled off? Oh, please. That certainly wouldn't have anything to do with fractaled off. How do I fractal off? I mean, is that some, well, anyway. I mean, please. It's just too silly, fractaled off. But dream states are interesting, right? Because our dreams are better than our reality, frankly. At least mine are. Even though some of them are quite horrible, there's a certain entertainment value to them. Being killed and, being decapitated and you can still talk. That's kind of fun sometimes. And then some of the dreams are really nice. Everything works out, and you end up being the hero and you sit down in the chair and smoke a cigar and say, I win, I win, I win. And you sing the I win song. So dreams are nice. It's a, it is really supposed to be. See, it's just a thing created by nature to force you to practice living while you're sleeping. So, it's resting you. And the only reason why it's really resting you is, frankly, to keep you from playing in the dark, because the dark is dangerous. So the whole point of it was to hide in the dark, and you get really bored when you were hiding in the dark. So nature just made you go to sleep just so you stay out of trouble. And it decided, well, while you're sleeping, you might as well do something constructive, so I'll throw some dinosaurs at you, and you can practice running away, or, you know, stabbing them in the eye. That kind of thing.
Personal identity.
Oh, fuck, I lost that. So dream state of personal identity, I don't know what she said, but who cares, right? Personal identity only is interesting in the fact that we all have one, because we're all uniquely dented. So we're a bunch of cars in a demolition derby. You know, genetically we start off different. You know, some are Mustangs and some are Pontiacs. I don't know. You know, Plymouths. You know, they end up banging into each other. You can almost never tell the difference who's what's what anymore, because, you know, the Plymouth fender's stuck inside the Mustang and blah blah blah. You know, and so we're a mess. You know, by the time you get old, you're really looking at, okay, the wheels are all square now, things are all going wrong, and you know, that's all you got, and then you catch fire and die.
Personal identity is the root cause of all suffering.
Oh, what a pile of absolute shit. I mean, that is such a magnificent turd. Wow. How could somebody write that crap? No, cancer is, and you know, the fact that we're mechanically fragile, and coronaviruses, and, you know, all kinds of things are the cause. What the hell are you talking about? I mean, it's just so stupid. The fact that I am an individual, I can't get around it, right? There's no way to fix the part that I have a brain, right? My brain manufactures all the sentences I'm saying, and it's also manufacturing all my reactions. Like I said, the fact that you are, you know, hot, but the tattoo sucks, and the dress color is and you know, and the little bobbly necklace thing is just too lame. You know, I can sit there and have all kinds of reactions. You know, the whole stage, oh, let's go find a tree to stand in front of, blah 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 blah. I can notice all kinds of stupid little things. That's what my brain does. It's, you know, blah, 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 blah. It organizes stuff. Now, if somebody else looks at the video and they see something entirely different, like, oh, she's an ugly bitch, or, you know, some other kind of crap, goes, whoa, that tattoo is so cool, though. You know, exact opposite reactions because of the way we have been dented. You see different things. If you have a Mustang fender, you know, in your eye, you see the world differently, you know, than, you know, if you got the bumper of you know, a Duesenberg up your ass, then you're going to see the world differently.
All suffering stems from the contracted energy of I am a real person.
Okay, so all suffering stems from the contracted energy of I'm a real person. So really, she's trying to say that somehow we should pretend all of this stuff that's very tangible, very observable, that we understand the fact that it's made out of matter and energy, and we should just pretend, oh, it's nothing. Nothing to see here. Nothing's happening here. There's no events. It's all just la la and la 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 la. La la and la 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 la. And there's nothing else happening. Just a bunch of la la. I can see it happening. What's the point of this argument? Why are you trying to convince me of this nonsense? I mean, why are you sitting there behind the curtain, you know, doing your little levers of your Oz machine that's going la 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 la? Why are you doing this? What's the gimmick? So I guess the gimmick is they have her and her mate, let's say, have figured out that, hey, we can make some money off this racket because people buy into this woo woo la 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 stuff. So let's make some la la videos. You know, we'll just read some of their crap and then we'll just recite it in front of a tree, and we can make a whole industry out of it. We can make a whole lifestyle out of sucking them for money. You know, we'll make them join our little Patreon group, and we'll have little special la la meetings. Shit.
Time with real problems, and I'm here to make change, and I've got to control my reality.
Yes, if you don't try to do any of that, guess what? Your reality gets ugly as fuck real quick. I mean, I've had some problems with that in my life, actually. You know, where I don't control. So, you know, if I have garbage in my hand, I just say, I let it go. Let the garbage go. You know, I don't necessarily clean up everything, and I don't control. I don't put, like, I take the thing down, I say, you know, I'll take this stuff out, and I put the thing, and I leave this stuff out, and I end up with a bunch of stuff, and it's all cluttery and a mess. So we really have to control. That's the whole point for having a brain, is to control. That is to say, hey, I can't walk through trees, so I better not walk into one. That's why we have a brain, is to control our behavior in some way that makes it more efficient. Now, obviously, evolution had a plan of efficiency, you know, which just really has to do with having kids and murdering them. But because we're smart, we can figure out that isn't a great plan, so I can change the plan a little. So that's the agenda, is to change the plan. I don't want to kill my brother. You know, so maybe, see, I'm smart enough to know, hey, that's not going to get me anywhere. Why don't I negotiate a treaty? Yeah, that would be the smart thing to do.
Because without me, who's going to do it?
Well, that's right. Nobody else is going to clean up my room, so to speak. That's right. So, yes, if I don't do it, then I'm fucked. And if I don't sit there, you know, you have to understand, you know, if there's a pit bull in the front yard of a house and you say, hey, fuck this, I think I'll go the other way. That's just being smart, you see. And if nobody else is going to do all that safety stuff for you, you know, they're not going to protect you from all the baddies. So you have to protect yourself from the baddies, or you're going to be a train wreck sooner than you need to be. And not that that makes a whole lot of difference, but it does make some difference. Trying not to be a train wreck is a rational thing to do.
But what I'm suggesting here is there is only oneness.
Okay, that's fun. You know, yes, you're not suggesting it, you're overtly saying it, and you're saying it premised on absolutely no evidence. See, I could just actually physically take a knife and, you know, saw my head open and throw the blob that is my brain on the table, and I could say, how the fuck are you wanting with that? You're not really wanting, okay? So that's just out. That's just total nonsense. Now, if you want to make an argument that, you know, we could cut your head open and slop the brain down there and say, look, they're the same thing pretty much, right? They're all gooey and red and blah. You know, yes, then we have agreement that, yes, these two things are doing fundamentally the same thing. Okay, they're experiencing the existence in the universe. They're experiencing. Okay, so yes, we share a common activity. But that's as far as it goes. There's no other thing that connects us except we're identifiable as the same thing, and it would be just as good for your brain to be happy as it would be for my brain to be happy. That there's no fundamental difference. It's just one brain, happy, not happy. So if we can make brains happy, good. Okay? But not making brains would be even a better thing to do. Because brains can't do anything but train wreck. They're all doomed. They're trapped inside of bodies that will train wreck. So why bother with this whole brain creating thing? Very bad idea.
I want to say oneness because it can make it seem like there could be another. Zero is better, I feel. More accurate in this.
I feel? So you're really not getting this whole being a professional word player with her, right? Because you really shouldn't say you feel it. You should say you understand. See, that's the more convincing word. When somebody tells me what they feel, oh, I'm not terribly interested, frankly. But what they think, okay, or what they understand, well, yeah, those are concepts. Please, let me hear about what you understand.
Because there's nothing here.
But we know there's something here. So again, this whole thing is just doomed for failure. This whole arguing with me or convincing me, as soon as you start, because all your premises are completely unproven mush, and they're preposterous on their face. This isn't a mirage. It's not.
Nothing is here.
Yes, well, whatever. I mean, why? What? So this somehow works for people. This is all nothing. There, everything's fine now. Grandma doesn't have cancer because everything's nothing. Yeah, that solves everything, doesn't it? Huh? I bet all these nothing people still are sitting down at dinner and eating. You know, still they're doing their same old routines as if they were here to do it.
And now the mind can take that in a nihilistic way.
Nihilistic. Yes, knitting. Knitting is fine. Oh, it's just too stupid. It's somehow nihilism, right? The denial of suffering is to recognize that it actually exists and it's not a good thing. Yeah, that's being nihilistic. No, that's the opposite of nihilisticness. Okay, is when you accept the fact that this has really got a lot of bad shit in it, and I might be responsible for some of it, and I better be careful what the fuck I do, because I might be wrecking somebody's train. It's so easy to do. It's so crowded. See, it's like demolition derby, and it's so crowded. You can't even back up 3 feet without banging into something. You know, there's just no way to get out of this shit without hitting something.
And feel depressed. That's what the me would do.
Silly me. so she would really do this. You know, sitting on the train, okay, looking out the window, talking about the wrecks, and she would just have a good laugh. Wrecking? That doesn't happen. That's a mirage.
And there's nothing.
She really is a psycho. I mean, that part was a little bit scary. Okay.
Nothing wrong with that, but this being wonderfully nothing is
wonderfully nothing. It's wonderfully nothing. I just don't get that part. See, that's the part. I'm feeling a little bit of tedium and struggle. I'm finding it, you know, fatiguing and exhausting, and you know. So much of it is, yeah,
the fucking freedom, because
she said one of them fucking words. Anyway, yeah, she was like an ex-porn star, right? Anyway, you know, I don't know what happened. You know, she did something really wrong. Oh, she did it so wrong. She couldn't do porn anymore. Anyway, all right. Let's pay attention to the words.
There's no meaning to this.
There's no meaning to this. I mean, and she's calling other people nihilists. I mean, come on. You're saying there's no meaning. You're the nihilist. Okay? She means nihilist, right? Nihilist. Yeah. No, that's not what they are. They're nihilists. They deny, you see, so they're denialists. But that's what you are, clearly. I mean, how could you screw this up? You're clearly the denialist. You're saying there is no this. Okay, that means you're really dumb. You know, besides being dangerous and, oh, just terribly reckless and selling this slop as some sort of philosophy. Come on.
Only the separate self comes in and goes, well, there has to be meaning. Why else would I be here?
Is that the voice I used? Oh, okay. That's a good imitation. Well, I mean, there has to be meaning just because the minute I feel something, there's meaning. There's just no doubt about the fact that feelings are like a brutal whip. Okay, and it's like the whip being taken away, you could say, is the pleasure. And there's such an extreme between them. You know, feeling okay and feeling not okay. The extreme can be, you know, megaparsecs of distance between them in terms of their inverseness, in terms of how opposed they are. And that difference between that sweet and sour, or however we want to think about it, that up and that down, is just so dramatic. Why would I be stupid enough to say it's not meaningful or it's not even real when it's so dramatically real? I mean, it just is. I don't know. I guess maybe you're doing conscious different than I'm doing it. But for me personally, yeah, my worst pain was a really bad pain, and my greatest pleasure was a very nice pleasure.
Well, you know, why do you hum? Why do you sing? Why do you...
Yeah, I really don't do much of that. Dum diddy doo da, hooah hooah, ah, da da da, boom boom. There. Okay, that's the extent of my singing and dancing.
You randomly dance in your kitchen.
I guess she's doing girl stuff. This is supposed to be a girl video. Come on, girls, we can do philosophy. La 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 la. It's all about the dance. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, in the mirage, dance in your mirage. See, they could write a book. Dance in your mirage.
Why not? Does there have to be a reason or a rhyme for this appearance?
Oh dear. I mean, obviously, the facts of evolution are a separate subject from does my life mean something? Those are two different questions. Okay, how I got here, you just can't change that truth. Okay, so there's no point in saying it's a mirage or it didn't happen or any of that crap. It has a physical lineage. All right, but what does it mean? Well, now that's a more interesting question. I would say it means stuff because all of the little critters that are feeling something, they're doing something significant. They can feel good and feel bad. So the words good and bad come from feelings. The words were invented to describe events that happen to feeling things. The words weren't described to describe events that don't matter, like two rocks hit each other. There wouldn't be a good or bad in that. But two human beings getting, a human being getting eaten by the saber-toothed tiger and a human being not, well, now they had a definition of good and bad.
Absolutely not. Only for the separate self does there have to be a purpose, a point, and a meaning.
Only for the separate self. So again, she's going back to this purpose and meaning thing as if it was in the design. The design, there's no designer. We're just saying, okay, there was a process that created us. Now, what in the process that created us, what in the outcome has significance? And the most significant thing happening is you can be tortured. That's really significant. Being tortured is a significant event. And I know that really viscerally. So I'm just saying you're really never going to be able to convince me that it doesn't matter if I'm tortured. That's impossible. There's just no way you're going to convince me that being tortured is the same as not being tortured. No, 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 no. No sale. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. So you have to accept, I think, some defaults here that the average person knows they're going to be tortured. Okay? When they die, they're going to feel it. You're not going to feel it. Nothing else is going to feel it. They're going to feel it. And they know that's the way it works. So I don't think you're, not very convincing to somebody logical. But it's a girl video. So it doesn't have to be logical.
But there isn't one. And now purpose, point, and meaning and intentions can appear and arise, but...
Oh, well, none of that stuff appears and arises, right? There's the same process of evolution. Intelligence evolves. That's why the people 1,000 years ago did really dumb things, It's why they died more frequently, is because they didn't take their vitamins and didn't do certain things, and they ate their own poo. They did lots of dangerous things, and that's why they succumbed more easily than we do. We're more durable because we have knowledge of these things you shouldn't do. We're more durable by knowledge, not more durable physically, because obviously we have also illogically allowed our genetic code to deteriorate in terms of its vigorousness against the world, because we keep saving people who should be dead and letting them have kids, and that's not a good idea. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject. But all of this stuff has causes. Nothing just arises. Nothing just poofs. It poofs out of stuff. It's made by stuff, by circumstances. So it's just kind of silly to imply that there's some there's no reasoning. There is a reason. We can understand the reasons, and then we can understand the pieces of the facts that are emergent, in the sense that there's the fact of evolution, and then there's the fact that evolution made a brain that's now can evolve memes. So you start with a cell, and you call that life. Then you make multicellular cities, and you call that living thing, you know, and then you have ideas, and they're doing the same thing. The ideas are evolving, the human multicellular city is evolving, and the little cells are still evolving. So you can understand the origin, and you can understand also that one is doing something very specific. That is, the thinking brain is attempting to model and understand the processes that create every single thing we as robots do. And so we can know how robotic we are. I always seem to keep creating this person, you know, Gary. Gary keeps coming out. I don't get to be somebody else, okay? I don't get to change the record. It's this stupid asshole. The same asshole is always talking out of me. Okay, I'm always watching me. I don't get to watch something else. I have to watch this show. Okay, I don't get to watch some other show. My consciousness. And you're stuck in the same box. You know, you're stuck being Donna Reed or whatever. Anna Brown. And there's just no point. You called the channel Anna Brown. You've called it a person, a thing. This is what it is. It's not everything. Okay? So, just silly babble. Alright, I think I'll take a little break and be back. Where are we? 45 minutes. So, in 45 minutes, I got through 2 minutes. Unfortunately, that's probably not that far from the average, right? It is difficult. Because every single thing people say is like, well, you know, 95.7% shit. So every bit of it always has to be restated because they can't state anything that's like consistent with anything like called reality. There's all kinds of glaring disconnects between what they're saying is in the model, and you're looking right at the model and you're saying, that's not in it. That's not in here. Alright, anyway. Alright, so, till shortly, and such. Alright, should be back. But yes, yeah, I turned the engine off for a while, let it cool down, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so, I'm a little more relaxed now.
For no one.
Did that little tongue thing. Yeah, that was hot. Damn it. It is so distracting, I have to concede. It's distracting. You know, if it was just a voice, well, it's kind of a pleasant voice too, right? So we're so manipulated by all these little subtle triggers. You know, it is annoying. But that's about, you know, that's life. Life is annoying. You know, my whole point is that, you know, life is really annoying.
Like an intention to go to the grocery store arises for no one.
Oh dear. For no one. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, obviously it's a practical thing. You have to do this eat food thing. You have to go to the stupid store to get the food. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. It's just part of the tedium. Part of the nuisancing. Now, some people it's fun, you know, because, you know, they get out of the house and, you know, they don't have to listen to the drunken husband or something, you know, so going to the store is fun. But whatever.
And this is hard to understand intellectually.
No, it's impossible to do it in an intelligent way, so there's no way to put together this mush, so you have to give a lot more detail about how any of this could possibly make any sense at all. Because, yeah, it just sounds like dribble, 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 dribble.
This is highly intuitive. It's only intuitive. But there is no one inside of your body.
Right, my brain is inside my body, though. And you want to say my brain is no one. It's okay to say it, okay? Yes, it's just a blob of electricity and goo, okay? It's not a person inside my brain, you know, doing the little lever pulling. No, the brain is actually doing the lever making and pulling. The brain does all of it. It creates the whole synthetic notion that I'm sitting in a chair watching my life fall onto the screen. And it's like, I don't have much to do with it. I didn't just say what I just said, right? I mean, not I didn't do it. Brain did it. Okay? And it just did it because of all stupid kinds of reasons, how I learned how to speak English and whatever. And so whatever literacy I have, I didn't have a damn thing to do with any of that either. So this, all of this moving of hands and making faces, I didn't have anything to do with any of this crap. But I'm definitely here watching it, so don't tell me I'm not here and I don't have to listen to it. And, it's always bugging me, this brain thing. There's all kinds of ideas floating around, banging around in there. So don't tell me I can hear it. I'm sitting here experiencing it. So don't tell me my brain isn't a something. Maybe you can say it's not a someone, but it's sure as fuck a something.
Is no you inside of your body. What you call you is just a bundle of thoughts, memories, imaginations, and projections.
Not really, right? Okay, thoughts, yes. And thoughts are constructive things built out of memories. So she said memories too. So memories are thoughts. The two are really the same thing. Because a thought is just you having past experience with something and you've labeled it. Like all the batteries you've ever known in your life, every single battery you ever knew in your life, there's a category called battery, and all those little battery experiences are on the category called battery. They're all in there in little pieces of every one of the battery. Oh, a battery bit me. When you're 5 years old, the battery bit you, and so you have a thing with batteries. Oh, I can't touch a battery because it bit me once. That kind of thing. And some of the memories are direct, like you could actually remember being bitten, and some of them are really indirect. Like, somebody anally probed you when you were 4 and you have no idea who it was, but you have a problem because of it. So there's all kinds of little events that happen where somebody fucked you up, humiliated you, or hurt you in some way, and that little pain is just ambiguously attached to things, okay? Like they were wearing a yellow hat when they did it, and so now yellow is, it feels kind of anal proby, but that's what we're made out of. It's all real events that happen in your real life that constructed the robot that you are. There's just so little of it, you would say, is from woo. No, it's all caused by events. Every bit of it is an event caused. Nothing happens for no reason.
Personal identity is not real. It's not wrong either because everything is that.
Yeah, well, you said it's not real, and the opposite of real isn't wrong. So you got those two words wrong. So there's right and wrong, and then there's real and unreal. So somehow those categories, real and wrong, somebody screwed you up and fooled you with like a flashcard and they spelled it wrong or something, and now you think wrong and real. No, they're not the opposites.
Which we call God.
Whoa, we don't use those words, frankly. No real point. So she's giving an excuse that somehow humans have to believe in a God and fable. No, they really don't. They only do that when they're ignorant. See, when they have a lack of information about why something happens, they start just making up stories. And it's really easy to make up the God story, right? Because you just stand over an anthill and you say, well, those ants are doing a lot of things like us humans. They're working together in some places, and they kill each other over here, and they do this, and they clean up, and a lot of things like we're doing. Well, what if there's somebody looking down at us, and he made us? So that's one of the stories they can tell. But it's just a silly story. It's just what ignorant people do. Ignorant people try to find explanations for things, but they don't want to do science. They don't want to do the work of going through the meticulous detail of figuring out how, what are all of your experiences regarding batteries, and let's see if we can find out why you're afraid of batteries, blah, 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 blah. They don't want to go through all that work. But there's a reason for every one of our silly little thoughts.
Hearing as all of this, all of the manifested realm.
the manifested realm. See, I don't experience all of this. See, because well, at first I'm not in the woods with birds and such. I have cement blocks and kind of gloom, and it's cold, and it's annoying. Yeah, and there's noises. Yeah, it's not nice. Not nearly as nice.
But at the core, there is no core. There's no core here. This is...
There's no core here. So what? See, again, it just doesn't make any sense, right? There is a truth. There's a history. The evolution evolved. The universe evolved. Everything is in processing. It's processing. And the process has a day before, and a day before that, and a day before that, and a day before that. Just as inevitable is, the fact that your train is going to wreck. And you probably should be panicked, because that's what it's going to do. They all do it. They all wreck. Sometimes they wreck 5 or 6 times before you actually catch fire. But yeah, that's how it's going to work. And you should be a little bit terrified, frankly.
Emptiness, dancing, particles of light taking shape and moving in sound.
So all of that, she's doing that jive talking, she's obviously a dancer. She's doing dance philosophy. Yeah. She has pretty little hands. Yeah, annoying.
Into form. But the separate sense of self, the me energy, personal identity comes in and goes,
the me energy. The sensing organism. I am constantly vulnerable to sensations. And I have to be really, really careful not to have bad ones. Because they're all waiting for me. Especially as you get older, it's so easy to have a bad sensation. Oh, gee, this is just such mush.
I know what this is. I know I'm real, right? Because when we were little, it was hammered into us. You got...
That's a shitty hammer. What the fuck? No, I didn't have any hammers like that. See, so my whole hammer category doesn't have any in it. There's just none of that. But anyway, clearly this isn't the problem. The clear thing that wasn't hammered into us was the parents don't have kids and say, you're the byproduct of a self-indulgent act in which, I got to have some fun. And and now you're stuck being on a train that's going to wreck. And you're going to pretend you're going to have a life. Like you're going to pretend like you're winning. You're going to try to construct a life. You're going to try to build your little house. You're going to try to build things that are durable and capable of maintaining and sustaining. And every bit of it's going to be taken away from you piece by piece. Life is going to, knock your teeth out, one at a time. It's going to, it's going to wart your anus, one little wart at a time. It's going to fuck you up, one little fucking indignity at a time. And that's going to be your fucking life. And there'll be moments where you'll be retarded enough to think, oh, it ain't so bad. But there's going to be lots of moments when, it's going to be disgusting. I mean, it's going to be absolutely disgusting. I mean, disgusting things are going to happen right in front of you. And they're going to be horrifyingly disgusting in some cases. And then they're going to be terrifyingly disgusting in some cases. And that's going to be your big fun. Yeah. Don't you feel privileged? Yeah.
Responsibility. Take ownership. You're real. I'm real. We've got real problems.
So this song, I don't get at all. There ain't no real problems. No, they seem really real. I mean, I just don't see any point in this pretending the problems aren't real. I mean, why is she selling something so... I don't even understand how it could catch at all. How do you catch any fish with this bait?
It gets really solid. It gets really solid.
Yes, the notion that I am here and I am experiencing, and what I'm experiencing can be quite awful. Yes, they've successfully hammered that notion into me. Yes. Okay, I'm convinced. But I don't think it's because they told me so. I think it's because I experienced so.
But personal identity is not real. It's an experience. It's like your dream at night. It's real and it's unreal. Right? When you have an experience of, I don't know, going to the mountains or on a roller coaster ride or being chased down by monsters.
Yeah, so exactly. It's just a theater. And it would be so much better if we could just do it all synthetically. You know, if we could all just make it up. Why do it out of reality when we could just do it out of bullshit? Okay, and then we could create perfect little bullshit worlds where we don't have to buy any bricks and we don't have to build any concrete. We don't have to worry about how much space there is on the planet. You know, you can make everybody can have 50 acres and a mule. Yeah, everybody can have, you know, anything. You know, we can all have mansions and yachts and all of that shit. And there's never, you know, we never run out of ocean. We never run out of land. We never run out of anything. So yes, it is all bullshit. It's just a bullshit theater going on in your head. Okay, but the fact is, it's still real. And that's the part you have to deal with. All you have to work with is the feelings. And they're tied in their association to certain images. And again, it's all about how you've been particularly warped and dented by the experience of maturation. I can warp you into a petty person. I can warp you into a needy person. I can warp you into anything, you know, by denting you. But why do any of it? None of it makes any sense. Why this silly theater? It's very dangerous. Is the simple statement is it's way too dangerous to fuck with these little Frankenstein experiments. Okay, so don't do it. That's what you should be telling people. Don't do Frankenstein experiments because they don't come out like me, young and pretty. You know, a lot of them come out stupid and ugly.
Monsters, it feels real in the dream state. And then when you wake up, you realize, oh my God, it never happened. It did and it didn't. You know what I mean?
Really isn't the same though, frankly. Like I said, I mean, hysteria in dreams is never like hysteria in real life. You know, I did have a dream wake me up the other day. So, you know, that doesn't happen too often, you know, where you're actually yelling or something. I mean, sometimes I'm playing golf in a dream, you know, and I'll wake up because I actually swing the club and it'll wake me up. Which is really disappointing, you know, because it's, you know, they're usually fun dreams. Yeah, but the other day somebody was stabbing me, you know, and so I called out somebody's name, like, do something, I'm getting stabbed. You know, and I actually said the word, you know, and it's just, you know, so it's just kind of funny when that happens. That's sort of when you're like, that's sort of real. You know, that little moment, dreams do that moment kind of right. When it does that, I'm actually being, the actual process is kind of nasty. It's always the aftermath your dreams can't figure out when you're not dead. So you're being stabbed and I don't die. That's when the dream gets funny and interesting because you really don't feel anything and you don't, you know, oh, I'm dead. Yeah.
Because in your dream you can be sweating, crying, laughing, all kinds of emotions can go on in dream state, right? And sensations, similar to the experience of the separate self we call me.
Okay, yeah, so the fact that you're saying that dreams are a pretty good synthetic replacement for life, like I've even said, I think I said it last week in my video, dreams are great. Yeah, I mean, I've lived some of my best moments in life dreaming, okay? My dreams have been better than my reality. It's sort of just a truth. I've had some fantastic dreams. Most of my most precious moments, you know, were complete horseshit my brain made up. And so we all should take some power from that, you know, in that some of this story we can understand that some of the things that are bugging us aren't really meaningful and we should just let it go. And so that's a good life lesson, you know, is to take out of this is that sometimes our reactions are, you know, we get angry and it's full of shit and it's just, oh, let it go. You know, couldn't possibly make any difference. Fuck it. Don't waste time on that nonsense. But that's not going to cure cancer. It's just not. It's not going to fix your real problems. The fact that you overreact because some asshole, you know, whatever, stepped on your foot, yeah, it'd be good to fix that so you don't waste time on creating drama you don't need in your life. But that's not going to fix the big parts of your life.
But there's actually never been a me. It's always been life force, light, wearing these costumes.
So again, the fact that energy is in a battery and energy is in my brain, she's saying it's just all the same thing. No, it's not even close to the same thing. This device is doing something very particular in the sense that a consciousness can create value in the universe. Before something that exists, before a feeling thing exists, the universe can't mean anything. It can only mean something if it's somehow jeopardizing what a feeling thing will feel. That's when the universe becomes valuable. So when the universe is making Frankenstein, it means something because Frankenstein will feel, you know, the monster. So it's not until something is jeopardizing a feeling thing does anything have meaning. But clearly there's huge meaning in the experience of every feeling thing. Every little cancer patient counts. Every horrible, awful, painful experience endured on earth counts. And our obligation is to make that that price paid for our silly storytelling as low as possible. And the simplest way to make it go away as a price is just to quit telling stories. Quit writing all of these idiotic stories, these individual little human stories. Oh, silly person did silly shit. You know, silly person did silly shit. Silly person did silly shit. I mean, stop writing the silly books, and then you won't have to account for the price being paid. Because the price being paid is those silly books all end with, then the train wrecked and they caught fire and their flesh burned off and they screamed, owie, 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 a lot. I mean, all of the books, all of the stories end in shit. Okay, they end, you know, with tragedy, train wreck. So quit making train wrecks for silly stories. That would be the takeaway. All right, well, we're at 4 minutes, so that's probably enough, and I've made it to the hour point and past, so we'll call this a video. Maybe we'll come back to this, just because it is trigger content, and you can just go on and on and on about every misspoken phrase, you know, every bit of drivel, and you can just point out, well, here's the real story, here's the real story, here's the real story. So yes, you can just go on and on, pointing out how there's no context here. There's nothing being done here but just giving people happy juice. And just say, look, don't worry, be happy. Because the trains aren't real. What? I can see them out the window, okay? Yeah, they're real. And I've done it, okay? I've done the owie, owie, owie thing. When I'm watching them screaming, running out of the train on fire, you know, I've done some of that, so I know what that feels like. I don't want to do that. Sheesh. Anyway, oh, we should give her a better face. So let's just go a little bit. There, that's better. Okay. Yeah, so that's enough. So till the next time and such and so forth and whatnot. Yeah, that's enough. Okay, I don't have any ending thing. I gotta figure out how to do an ending here in this software. It's always something. Guess I could turn something on. Screen capture. Oh, that probably wouldn't help any. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Okay, never mind. I'll just end. Okay. So, thanks for your whatever participation and listening through the whole video and all of that. Yeah, yeah, thank you. It's a polite thing to do. Yes, thank you. So, till the next time and such. Just looking